This week on Gran Turismo, Daily Race A, we race Civics in America. Daily Race B, I get all squirrely and nearly lose it. And in Daily Race C, well, I do lose it as I crash into someone. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo Weekly Race Guide here in 2024, week 24 as well, and we've got an interesting week, I suppose. A real world event, which we did want more to happen, so that's happening in Daily Race C. Daily Race B, we've just done 24 hours of it, but Daily Race A in the background, we're in Honda Civics at Grand Valley South. It sort of reminds me of Fast and Furious and Race Wars. So we're doing 6 laps. Here's a grid start with a false start check. Comfort, medium tyres, and bop is on. No DR updates, but SR updates are on, so do be careful when you drive these. If you're not looking to drive these, though, there are some timestamps in the background for you to jump to Daily Race B or Race C, respectively. We did do this race, so let's jump into it now, and let's have a look exactly what happens. Right, here we are then at the start. This was a bit later on in the day because I had a problem with Daily Race C, but we'll talk about that later on. Now, this car loves to spin its wheels, so make sure you turn traction control on, hold that handbrake as we prepare to get racing here at Grand Valley South. Here we go then, off we go. We actually get a pretty good start here. The red car up ahead definitely didn't there. A local captain. Well, unfortunately, you've just been demoted down towards the back of the pack there as we head towards turn number 1. So I'm trying to come across here onto the inside because I was a little bit scared here. Big driver rating differences here in this lobby. And I expected someone would send it deep. However, it all looks pretty nice there. We get a tap from behind and another tap. And they're just leaning on us as we go through here. So I wasn't overly happy with that one as we continue on through. But I do have to remember, big difference in driver ratings here as we head down here then. So just looking to slow the car down. As we go into this right-hander, you got to be careful of weight transfer. As you can see up ahead, everyone's gone completely wide then. And we're going to look down the inside of the Swiss driver then as we go into here. Big crash there between those two. However, we survive it here. And Dudiccio up ahead with a penalty there. 0.5 second penalty, which isn't actually that big in these cars. The French driver up ahead has just got another penalty. We've just been tapped from behind as well as we continue on out of here. So they take that penalty. There's hardly any difference here, as you can see, as we head towards this right-hander. We're going to be side by side going into here. Hard on the brakes. Do we get past? Yes, we do. Up into P4 we go then. And we're already looking at a podium. Apologies if I do pause during this video. I have a bit of a sore throat. So, yeah, I will have to pause occasionally. Right, in towards turn 1 then we go. Boris GT4788 up ahead. He's living in the year 3000 apparently. That's the version of Gran Turismo that's out at that time. As we continue on out of there. Tried to get on the inside of the spoon machine. That didn't quite work as we go into the complex section here. We just fast forward a little bit. But let's get into some racing action then as we head in towards this left-hander. And we've got Stanky up ahead with a 0.5 second penalty. We try and get the run out of here, straightening up the wheel as quick as we can to really make sure we don't hit that limiter. And we're going to look down the inside of the spoon machine then heading in towards this right-hander. And we're going to go on the brakes and in we go. And oh, a little bit of clash there. I did make the apex, but we keep racing here as we go into the left-hander. And they maintain that position now, does Boris, as we go into this right then. A short shift to third gear. I'll explain that on the track guide as well, which is coming up after the race, of course. And you did see those timestamps earlier on. And if you didn't, just check down below. You can advance in the video to where you can see those lap guides. Now, we're in the slipstream here of Boris. Boris goes towards the left, so we're going to go towards that right-hand side then as we head in towards the braking zone here at turn number 1. Boris tries to outbrake me. Boris fails to outbrake me, and we're going to go into P3 then as we continue on through here then. So we've got 3 and a bit laps to go then as we head down here to try and get the win, but we've got a chance here as we go into this right-hander. I did have the world record at the time of filming. I know I don't have that anymore as Adam has come to play then. Oh, hello. Looking down the inside there, we've got a really good run through the right-hander and in towards the left. We're going to be side by side out of here then with Stanky. Really good racing so far then as we head towards the right-hander. And it looks like in the distance, P1 has a penalty there. He does indeed as we go into this right-hander side by side. Beautiful racing, slight rub, nothing major though. We're both down the circuit, both trying to give each other space. Beautiful stuff there, Stanky. Really beautiful stuff. As we go into the right hand then trying to defend it. Short shift to third gear to avoid that wheel spin as we continue on out of here then. So we advance later on where Max does take that penalty. We're very close. 2 laps to go then, or 2 and a bit should we say, as we go into the right-hander. Can we get by Max is the question as we go into the left-hander. Just going to settle the car down a little bit. Look down the inside. Had to slow it down a bit more there because I would have hit Max otherwise. We're going to take a wider line through this corner into third gear, accelerate out then, and look at the run we get here. Beautifully done, I would say. So round the outside of max, but the overrun we've got here, because we're more into that VTEC there, or some form of engine power at least. Anyway, we go past I'm not sure if VTEC was on this car. I don't know the history, but we are past max then, and what we're going to do is advance towards the final lap number 6. We've been getting fast laps for days. We get another one here into the 30s, and we do indeed win that race there. And as you see, the vast difference there in driver ratings, so that's why obviously you've got to be a bit more cautious and aware, you know, a DRC driver isn't going to drive as well as a DRB, and so on and so forth. Right, in towards the lap guide we go then. And what you're going to do here is, as you head towards turn number 1, after the 300 board there, the line goes straight. So as you get to that point, that's when you're going to hit the brakes. Okay, you're going to hit the brakes and brake in a straight line. If you remotely try and turn and brake in this car, the weight's going to shift to the left-hand side, and you're going to just go sliding. So hard on the brakes in a straight lane. I start to lift then, and I'm staying in third gear. Accelerate instantly there when you see the sand goes to curb on the right-hand side. I didn't stop it this time because I always talk about that marker there, but that is your accelerating marker as we go down here. So as you come into here then, what you want to do is lift off a little bit. Stay around 100 miles an hour here then, and as the line goes straight, again, these white lines are beautifully helpful here at Grand Valley. So as that line goes straight, you're going to hit the brakes. Now, you don't want to slide on this corner. You want to brake in a straight line again and try and keep the car stable. Keep the car stable, you'll maintain the miles an hour. And that's what you do in this car. It's a very slow car, so that's what you try and do. Notice that I'm not really sliding, letting the car do its thing. Accelerate out here. Be careful about cutting the corner there. And as you head in towards this right-hander, again, the white line as it goes straight there in the distance. You can see I'm just braking just before that. All the sign on the left-hand side. Really good brake markers for this. You want to hit the brakes and turn in. Best to stay in fourth gear for this one in terms of weight transfer and stability. You are going to slide a little bit as you go through here. And as you go towards the outside, you've got the grass there on the hill. If you want to use that as a marker, please do. I sometimes use it. I didn't in this case. I basically just straightened up and then hit the brakes and carried on then turning into the corner. Drop into third gear. And that's what you're going to see right now. You can see the grass there on the right-hand side for a bit more of a clear cut on chase cam. As I go into here, I'll trail brake through the corner. And as we head towards this left-hander, on the right side there, you've got that fence that starts, okay? So you want to brake in a straight line again. Don't turn and brake in this car. That's the biggest tip I can give for this car. Don't brake and turn. Brake in a straight line and then turn. So I'm going to drop to second gear for this corner, as we can see that on chase cam. So through the left we go. And then as I go through this corner, I want to straighten up as quick as I can to avoid wheel spin. And I want to keep up in that higher rev range. It's where all the power is in this car as we head towards this fast right-hander. So on the left-hand side then, you got sort of like a concrete part of the bridge, which then ends and goes into a smaller Armco. You can use that as a marker. If you want to be the last of the late breakers, brake where the sign is on the left-hand side. Now, you want to try and use as much of the track here as possible. Reduces weight transfer, which is one of the key parts of this car. And as I go into here, I'm just sliding a little bit there, but then I want to straighten the car up. And on the left-hand side, we've got a warning sign for corners ahead, essentially. So that there, as it hits the edge of your screen, you're going to hit the brakes and you're going to drop to second gear. Now, when you drop to second gear, you just want to get the car turned. So if you've done the time trial with this car, you will understand this a bit more. So we go around the corner here. We want to get it turned, and then we straighten up and accelerate. As we go into this right-hander then, on the left-hand side, you've got the Armco, which goes into some brick walls there. And now, this is your brake marker. Now, you only want to dab the brakes. You don't want to go crazy on the brakes here because you don't want to have the car go all over the place. So dab the brakes. But what you are going to do is short shift for the exit, because as you see there, 59 miles an hour is when you change gear anyway. So rather than get wheel spin and having to judge it, third gear, out the corner you go. You don't get the gear shift delay, and then you can head towards the line like I've done here. And this was a 1:29.6. There you go. That's it for Daily Race A then. Let's jump to Daily Race B, where we've just done 24 hours at this race. Yes, it's the Red Bull Ring and Group 3, which is technically GT3 in the grand scheme of it. What exactly are we doing here in terms of settings? Well, we're doing 6 laps. It's a rolling start on racing hard tyres, and you can only change the brake balance. So no tuning this week, which is good to see. Just brake balance, which I don't consider tuning. Happy days indeed. I chose the Porsche. It's the most stable on racing hard tyres. Let's jump into the race and let's have a look exactly what happens. Who has picked what then? You may see in an NSX GT500. That's a Wind who's in this lobby. Quite a top lobby here, to be honest. And it's the first race I did of the day. If you enjoyed this video, as always, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel. We're getting so close to this 50k special now. I am so looking forward to it, and hopefully you guys are as well, as some of you will be taking part in that one, I'm sure. Through turn 1 we go. The Renault there just loses it. It does compromise wind here. And we're in the Porsche, so we have good acceleration and a good bop anyway as we continue on through here. So we've gained 2 positions already, heading up to a very, very, very iffy corner on lap 1. In we go then. The smoke up ahead. Everyone seems to calm down here. Through the right we go. We've got a slow Castrol Super GT 500. So we do gain that spot then from them. We've got Chelsea and a Viper up ahead. We've got MG Flash on the right-hand side here as we head down towards the right-hander. Then we're going to go hard on the brakes here. Where is everybody here? So we send it a little bit on Chelsea. We do get it stopped though. All's fair there as we continue on through. Left room on the exit for the Viper as well. So up into P11 we go then. As we head to this double left-hander. Honestly, it felt like I'd not been away from Red Bull Ring, the fact that we're here. Through the left we go, side by side with MG Flash. My car just wanted to oversteer there, so I had to lift off there to make sure I didn't tap MG Flash. In towards the left we go. I took a bit of like a weird avoiding action there that I didn't actually have to, and it caused me a lot of weight transfer there. Chelsea tried around the outside, but I think understeered off there, and Win managed to maximise that one. Very opportunistic and gains 2 spots then as we go into the penultimate turn there. Around the outside of MG Flash. What a move that is then. Up into P11 we go. I forgot I even did that. As we go into the right-hander and we're up into P11. Lots of fighting to come though this week. This race is going to be extremely close, and do expect some crashes, some knocks and some bangs, because it is 6 laps of all-out GT3 action, Group 3 action. As we go through the right-hander, we catch up to the Belgian driver up ahead, then Clara Luna, and unfortunately we had to lift off a little bit there. I was hoping to get a good run through the corner. That didn't happen as they were 3 wide in towards turn 1. So Win's on the right here. I am going to try and follow Win here as we head in towards the right-hander then. We're side by side once again in towards the braking zone. We go, got to leave a little space on the exit then. There we go. Beautiful racing. Beautiful racing indeed there, Clara Luna. Thank you very much there for some good racing. However, I'm in the slipstream now and I'm looking at the Spaniard up ahead. I'm assuming that's Poncho Billy. Now as we head in towards the right-hander and slowing it down, we are up into P10 then. As we continue on through, nearly understeered into the Spanish driver, so we did have to lift there, which does compromise us a tiny bit then as we head to this left-hander. Now, where can we overtake the Spanish driver is the question. Now, we are in the same sort of position as MG Flash was in the previous overtake, up ahead, but obviously I took avoiding action there and lost out, but the gap is sort of similar here. So guess what I'm going to try and do? I've hinted towards it already. We're going to try and go around the outside here as the Spanish driver goes towards the inside then. So let's see if we can do it again, then use all of the circuit here as we go into this right-hander. We are alongside there. Through we go. And unfortunately there, we just got pushed out wide. And you can see my face there shaking my head. I wasn't too happy with that. We'll have a look at that one in the bloopers as we look towards the inside there. And they go defensive. Unfortunately, that does stop me in my tracks. So they go defensive again there. And I'm pretty sure they misgeared there. So we're going to go around the outside then in towards turn 1. I was a bit scared for this move, but we pull it off, thankfully, as we continue on through in P9 then. Happy days indeed as we advance lap number 5 to catch up to the next pack there, because we did lose a lot of time. So we've got a GTR up ahead. Win still in this fight then. The GTR gets all sorts of squirrely there on the exit of turn 1. So we're going to go past then up into P8 here, and Wind is behind the Genesis up ahead. It's nice to see a mixture of Group 3 cars. The bot definitely is one of the best it's ever been at the moment as we head in towards this right-hander. I'm just leaving room for the GTR. That fortunately gives me some, well, outside room on the Genesis there. Unfortunately, I don't think this Stormy there did book stellar as we continue around the outside here. So I'm going to have dirt on my tyres then as we head down towards this right-hander. I know the Genesis is on my inside. I have to be careful about braking here as we go into here then. And you can see here, I've just outbrought myself a little bit then. But I do have the run on the exit though here. Still side by side with the Genesis. Appreciate the room there, book stellar, as we head towards the left-hander then. Going to go on the brakes. Can we keep it on the inside? Yes, we can. Finally, we are up into P7 then, and let's see if we can get involved in the fight up ahead then. The final lap, here we go. Peugeot RCZ up ahead, hard on the brakes we go. We're using all of the circuit then. Through we go, and we definitely are in that slipstream of the Austrian driver at their home Grand Prix here in that RCZ. So I see the indicator go on. I appreciate it all the same, but remember, you can fight me. I have no problems with you fighting me here as we continue on then. So I'm up into P6. Of course I am. Let's see if we can get P5 then from the German driver. I can't remember what happens here at the end of this race. So let's see what we can do then. Are we going to go for the same move again? WPE goes towards that right-hand side then. It's like we all go for the same move. I can't remember to say. Oh, my word. We just sent it. It worked again. Happy days. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad then. There's a song there. I'm not going to sing it, though, as we go through the final corner. P5 at the end of the day. Not too shabby at all from towards the back of the pack then in this Porsche 911. A good race, this one. It is a good race. It's a standard combo that Gran Turismo use. You just have to be careful because there will be nudges, a little bit of bangs here and there, and we know what the ping pong physics can be like. We're going to go into a lap guide then, and some of you know this lap guide like the back of your hand, so you can see the brake balance on the right hand side. Turn 1, 100 meter board. That's what you're looking for here. That is your marker. So whether it hits the top of your screen, depending on the car, of course, is depending on where you brake. Now, use all of the outside circuit here. So make sure your left tires are off the slippy stuff and your right tires are on the curb. That's what I'm doing here. And it just widens this corner up and you should suffer a bit less power oversteer on exit. Do be careful of the exit, of course, because track limits are in play here as we head towards turn 2. It's about here where you will get that 0.5 second penalty. So you might want to restart if you do get that. Now, heading towards this right-hander, we're looking for the 100 board again because it's a nice, easy brake marker and you're braking just before it hits the top of your screen. You can see I've just started braking now. Now, you can try and use more of the circuit on the left-hand side, but I find it compromises me more when I try to do that. So I'm going to stay on the circuit for this one as we drop down to first gear. Be very careful on exit, okay? Power oversteer happens a lot and to a lot of cars. Even in this Porsche, it happens. Do be very careful on that exit with the throttle. Going to head towards the next turn then. Once again, can you guess the brake marker? You've got a couple of seconds. There it is. It's the 100 board, but this time we're braking earlier than the previous 2 corners. The reason for that is we're braking downhill. So you can see that it's just below my rear view mirror. So that's where I'm going to brake. We'll jump to chase cam. You can see where it is there then. And essentially, we're going downhill. We have to brake a tiny bit earlier. And we're going to drop to first gear here. Be careful on exit. So I short shift to second to avoid power oversteer on exit as we continue on through that corner. Head over towards the right-hand side then. And forget the 100 now. We're looking for the 50 there. And it's about the same spot again, just underneath the rear view mirror. I've just started to brake. Now, do be careful as you turn into this corner. It's quite common for cars to lose the rear end here just because of the weight transfer. You've gone turning right into turning left. The centre of gravity is still shifting there as we drop to second gear. Short shift to third then to avoid any power oversteer as we continue on through there. You can use a lot of the curb there. Don't use too much though, as there are track limits in play. And as a short circuit meets a full circuit there, the white line indicates it perfectly. That is your brake marker for this next left-hander. Now, I find you want to overslow yourself for this corner a little bit. You want to get on the inside to give yourself a better exit. So you can see I'm trail braking all the way through, and I make sure I'm going to make it round before accelerating off. Make sure you stay on the red and white curbing, otherwise you will invalidate your lap, unfortunately, as we head towards the penultimate corner then. Head over towards the left-hand side, and you can see how I'm using all of the track again, like turn 1. And that Marshall safety cage there on the left-hand side, brilliant brake marker for this corner. What you do is you hit the brakes just before it hits the edge of your screen. You're going to drop a gear and chuck it in. Okay, sometimes you'll drop 2 gears, depends on the car and the speed you're carrying, of course. I dropped 2 in this situation in the Porsche as I continue on through. I can use all of the circuit here. Make sure your right tyres stay on the red and white curbing. And the Austrian flag on the left-hand side here that I've highlighted there, as it hits the edge of your screen, that's when you're going to hit the brakes. You can see it's just about to hit the edge of your screen. I've just started braking. It's all there for you. As you can see, it's not even showing the brakes here, but it's the exact same point. That's because it's a replay, and replays show you braking later than you actually are. Keep that in mind, and that's a tip for you when watching replays. Accelerate through the corner, head towards the line. That's a 128.9. I was happy with that. I was like, happy days. I'll take that because we've broken the next barrier. Speaking of barriers, by the way, look at that. We've got the Le Mans barrier. So we're in Group 1 at Le Mans. And the reason for that, of course, is it's Le Mans race week at Le Mans, actually, in France right now. We're doing 6 laps here, rolling start on racing medium tyres. A mandatory pit stop is required. You may not want to change tyres, or you may do, as it's time 6 tyre wear. Only the brake balance is changeable, and the 787B appears to be the race car of choice, while the Sauber appears to be the time trial car of choice. Now, I went in the Sauber for the race. Let's jump into that race, and let's see how I got on, and whether it can beat the 787B. Okay, let's have a look at all those 787Bs, and I've got a couple of Saubers in here, but this is like race 3 of the day, I think it is. But even so, I still jumped in and had a go, and you should too. So do get a like, do subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying this video, and you can see traction control is on 1 there. The rolling start can be dreadful, so just keep that in mind there. If you do start in the 4 chicanes, just make sure that you do put traction control on 1. It'll just give you a bit of a safety net as you start. Now, the Sauber is better in the corners, which is why it's better in terms of qualifying pace rather than in the race pace. Because in the race, you usually want the fastest car in a straight line for the easiest overtakes. Going through here then, we're going to tap Mario Sonic there. I knew they would make the corner, by the way. It's why I didn't accelerate and just let the bump draft happen. I didn't want to lose any more time there. If I'd have hit the brakes, I potentially would have gone off, etc. And hopefully Mario Sonic was fine with that. Gonna head towards the first chicane then. In we go. We've got somebody off in the distance there as they come back on. We need to be careful here. We're gonna go in the middle technically then. Through the chicane we go as we come back on the circuit there, and we're just past Sebastian Loeb. Just a point out here, and this isn't on Sebastian Loeb at all. If you are from another region, you do have to be more careful in Group 1 than in any other category of car, because the server's going to struggle to keep up with you as you have to communicate over a further distance. If you are jumping in another region, be careful of that. Gonna head in towards Indianapolis then. Up ahead, lots of slow cars here. There's a slight tap between the two there, and unfortunately there, I hit sponsor for ETA. I think that was all forever. I can't even remember in terms of that. So I'm gonna wait up here. Why am I not on the right-hand side? You're probably asking. Well, there are already cars on the right-hand side, so you need to remain predictable in this situation. So I stay towards the left. A better idea would have been me to get past this corner and then wait up, but even so, there we go. So it's sponsored for ETA there. I felt it was my fault. Arguably, you could say it wasn't. Well, I'll look at the bloopers, of course, to see whether I should have waited up or not, because in reality, there was more crashing going on there, and I get a track limit penalty. Track limits are going to be a big thing this week. You're going to have to be careful. Sponsored for ETA goes very deep there into turn 1. But track limits, yeah, they're not the greatest here at Le Mans. We've talked about it loads here, and once again, we're talking about it now. It's just weird. Basically, if there's a curb there, you can abuse it. If there's not, the white line is very much the limit. Yeah, make of that what you will. It's like two separate rules. It's very annoying, but it is what it is. Right, we've got to lap number 3. Some people have pit at the end of lap 2. Of course, there is that mandatory pit stop you can do, and some people will change tyres, and some won't. As we go through the right-hander then, I'm going to continue on out of here. Sponsor for ETA just gets a bit squirrely on the exit. That 787B is a bugger in the corners, so some of you may prefer this Sauber, which could still be a bugger, but a bit less of one. As we continue on through there, I was a bit deep in towards that left-hander. In towards Indianapolis, then we're catching up to IQ Ball there. Actually got that Indianapolis slightly wrong, and you can see my tyre wear now just above half, and I get a track limit penalty for Indianapolis for my troubles, because yes, you saw the massive cut I did there, right? Yeah, me neither. Anyway, we're going to advance here then a little bit on IQ Ball as they take that penalty. Penalties are big as well. So you just have to be careful here then. So the end of lap 3, we're going to come in the pits. Be careful on pit entry. Just brake at the curbing on the left-hand side. I should have really stopped it there for you, but just be careful on entry. It's not a case of instant invisibility and instant teleportation. Right, we leave here then, and who's got ahead of us here? So we're basically where we were, actually, with the waiting, but we've got a couple of cars we can overtake up in the distance then. And there in the Nissan, actually, is the Dutch driver up ahead. Now, that Nissan is, once again, a struggle on corners like the 787B, but I believe that's actually the fastest car in a straight line, that Nissan. As you can see here, I was catching, but I thought I'd back out of this one. I don't want to send it in towards this corner. So we slow down for the chicane then, using all of the left-hand side. In towards the right we go. Look, we can abuse the white line here. And when there's a curve there, we can abuse it once again. So we're looking to get the run out the corner then. And we're side by side here. But you're going to see that Nissan start to take off then. So I can't really get past. And that is why having the faster car in the race in a straight line is better, because you can just stream on by people. And we're going to head in towards the braking zone then, hard on the brakes. And unfortunately for them, they outbrake themselves a teeny tiny bit. They're going to head to Narnia, and we're going to take that place. In fact, they're going to leave the race then. So we advance towards Indianapolis then, where Shadow has a penalty. I actually completely forgot I had a penalty here. I was like, okay, I'll just stream on by Shadow. And I was not paying any attention to that yellow bar because it was so close to Shadow's. I nearly rear-ended Shadow there. I was aiming towards the to go off the circuit there if I was going to hit Shadow, but fortunately I judged it accordingly, and that surprised me, that penalty. But even so, I take it. I still got past Shadow, and we can look further on then where we catch up to Velasa in the 787B. So you can see some people are struggling with that 787B. Don't be afraid to use traction control if you need to. And once again there, because I went too wide too early, the motto for Le Mans, then unfortunately I got a penalty. To lap number 6 then, we catch up to Lalo here. And coming into Indianapolis, they brake really early here. It confused me like crazy because you don't really brake until you're well, the right before Indianapolis, should I say, the Indianapolis section. But even so, they did, and I managed to catch it just here. And we're literally going for a cutback here on the Spanish driver, but we've got a penalty to take, so of course we are going to lose that position as they go streaming on by then, and that half second just disappears massively. We're going to advance towards the final chicane then for the final time here at Le Mans as we go into here then. I was just trying to settle the car then, and the Spanish driver gets it all wrong there. So did I a little bit. I yeeted it over the sausage. Hey, yeeting over sausage works because I got P11. Happy days indeed. Congratulations, Consta, on the race victory then. But I'm going to give this race a couple more tries this week, just to try a few different cars and see what they're like versus that 787B. We're going to jump into the track guide then. Let me explain Le Mans here. You can see my brake balance on the right-hand side, as well as the weight and power of this car as we head in towards turn number 1 then. So as the curb goes straight, that is when you're going to brake, okay? Now, if you're in a different car, you may try and brake at the total sign, but I literally brake at as the curb goes straight, because these cars, these Group C cars, struggle to brake in a straight line. They really do. They just carry so much speed. So I cut a little bit of the first part, I cut a little bit more of the second part, and short shift to third gear on exit. You'll avoid power oversteer, and you can accelerate through the corner with some stability, which is key here. So heading towards this left-hander, you can use these little bollards there on the right-hand side that I've highlighted. In the Group C cars are good, but you may also want to use the lamppost on the right-hand side, the one I always point out as well. Pick and choose your brake marker depending on your car of choice as we head in towards this left-hander. So I'll let the car roll a little bit, accelerate through the corner. If you go too deep there, you're going to struggle to full throttle the right there, so just be careful as we head to Tetra Rouge. Now, in the Sauber, you do this in 4th gear. The reason for that is there is a gear shift delay. So do it in 4th gear and you can go through the corner. So on the right there, the blue there, it just starts there on the right side. That is my brake marker and I turn in. Now, you want to use track limits here. So as long as all the wheels stay on the curb, so you can cut a little bit of the inside, you can cut a bit of the outside or make it wider, should I say, then you should be fine. But that gear shift delay is critical here. So that's why 3rd gear can be better in a lot of instances. In terms of brake markers for the first chicane, on the left-hand side, you've got the catch fence as it ends, the marshals, if you want to use them, or if you're in a more modern Group 1 car, the 100-meter board on the right-hand side. You can brake that late in the modern ones. So all 3 markers there for you as we go into here. Use all of the inside here, okay? Remember, when there's a curb, abuse it like crazy. Don't go too wide too early. As you see there, I just made it in time. Otherwise, that could have been a penalty. In towards the next chicane then, we've got the first marker, another couple markers there, but critically here, you've got these trees. You can see the tree trunks there. They're my brake marker in the Sauber. If you're in a more modern car, you can use the 100-meter board if you want to, but I'm using the trees there because I want to abuse all of the inside on the left-hand side to open up this corner on the right, because cars love to understeer here. So I try to get over the left, then in towards the right. Look at all the abuse here. Remember, not too wide too early. I can now abuse the white line because I'm near the curb. Happy days indeed. Remember, that motto, don't go too wide too early at Le Mans, and you should be able to master this. So as we head in towards Mulsanne corner then, the start of the curb is really hard to see here. You can see I've highlighted it in the middle there. It's really hard. If you're in a modern car, it has the curb indents, but that little fence on the right-hand side there, okay, really good marker. It's also the start of the curb technically there. So use that as your brake marker. Brake in a straight line here. I dropped to first to abuse the engine brake a little bit. Short shift to second. Get in a straight line before going full throttle, and you should survive in these Group C cars. We're going to head towards Indianapolis then. So as you come into Indianapolis here then, the start of the curb on the right side, really good brake markers. So start to turn into the corner and then 100% brake. I realize I don't normally say to do that, but because you're already turning there, you've already done a portion of the turn-in, so your tyres are then left more or have more ability to then brake as hard as possible. So we're braking a straight line here. I dropped to second. I'm going to short shift to third. The same reason I've said all through this lap, stability. On the right side then, you've got the Gantt signs. The middle one is my usual brake marker, or you can use the tree, the last of the trees on the right-hand side. Really good brake markers here for Arnage. So I'm going to go to first gear here to really slow the car down, because it's very easy to outbrake yourself for Arnage, especially using these brake markers, but they are my markers. And then I'm going to short shift to second. I use the curb a little bit on the right side to rotate the car. Straight line. Make sure you're in a straight line before you full throttle. Another key tip here at Le Mans. As we head towards Porsche curves then, on the left-hand side, you've got the start of the dark green stuff, or the Goodyear sign if you want to use that. Kind of interesting that the Gran Turismo is sponsored by Michelin and Goodyear's there, but hey, it is what it is. But that dark green on the left-hand side then, okay, is your brake marker. You want to brake and drop 1 gear in the Sauber, so that's what I do here. 4th gear, I'm trying to maintain 170 miles an hour. Very hard to do, though, as I go through this left-hander. I'm just adjusting the throttle accordingly, and then we're going to use my brake marker on the left-hand side there. The grass to tarmac. Really good brake marker for this right-hander. Once getting here, you're going to hit the brakes and literally drop a gear as you go into this right-hander, okay? As you go into here, let the car roll. Let the car roll. I'm just tapping the brakes a little bit as I go through this right-hander. And then as the line goes straight, or the RMC on the right-hand side, you can use that then to turn in. You just want to lift off for this one. You don't want to brake for this. Just nice lift off. Let the car start to turn in, and then you can start to accelerate. If you're just trying to accelerate through this, you're just going to understeer off. Okay, so that's what I do here. As you can see, avoid going too wide there. You don't want to invalidate your lap when you're at the end of the lap. I did that on one of them, and I was very frustrated. We're gonna head towards the final chicanes then. So on the right side there, you got the dark grey into like a medium grey. That's a really good brake market in this Sauber. You've got the start of the pit exit curb in the middle there, or you got the lamppost on the right hand side. I'm using the concrete barrier colour change. That is my brake marker for this one. So as it hits the edge of my screen, hit the brakes as I go into here. So I'm going to drop to second gear. I'm trying to get over towards the right hand side as much as possible. I need to be turning left or at least going straight before that curb there, okay? So I'm dabbing the brake to try and get the car over towards the left hand side. Do be careful. The way you hit this curb sometimes can jump the car. So do be careful when you do that. If it hits the centre of the car, it can force you out wide. Now I'm in third gear because I want the stability on the exit, and it's actually quicker to do that in third gear on the exit. That was a 317. We're going to go into some bloopers then. And this is something I saw in race 8. I was like, why is this person so far behind? Well, this is why then. So going through this left, then there's a slight tap with Fabsy there. And unfortunately, they go into the barrier, does the Danish driver. I do feel the Germans should wait up there. Not sure whether they did or not, but I can't see on the map. So we're going to see what happens to the Renault here. Are they going to go on the throttle? Yes, they do. And then they just spin round. Quite a common thing to do into turn 1 there. And that's why the Renault went round. We're going to look at this one. So this one, I shook my head out, of course. So as we come into this right-hander, they lift off the brakes a little bit. They dab the brakes there to try and slow themselves. So they realise they've just got overspeed there. And it is their mistake there because they were running me off the circuit at that point. So that's why I flashed my lights. You can see that. That's nothing major. They went for the defensive line. I couldn't get over in time. But they lift off there. So they do lift off, actually. And I assume that's to let me go there. So I do appreciate that, actually. I do appreciate that. So thank you, Uzma. I appreciate that massively. And that's why I like to look at some of these sometimes. You get my live reaction, of course. And then we have a look at it properly in the bloopers. So the Mercedes here, brilliant avoiding action there to avoid the 787B. Absolutely fantastic to see. Really good sportsman-like stuff there as we continue on through. And this is the incident that I was involved in. So let's have a look up ahead then. So as we come into this left, I'm taking the inside line. They hit Mario Sonic, and then it forces them more on the inside there with that overspeed there. And as you can see here, there was cars on the right, which is why I stayed here. And that is why I wanted to remain predictable. It allowed their Bing to go on by. And then I waited for my name is Jeff to go on by. We're going to look at it from Jeff's perspective. I'm 50-50 on whether I should have waited, but I'm glad I waited all the same because I showed my sportsmanship there, in my opinion. Going through here then, so you can see there, that bank forces them to turn more on the inside, which I wasn't expecting, and that's why I ended up hitting them. If they stayed on that line, they wouldn't have actually been spun round. But it is what it is. I waited. We had a good race all the same. If you have enjoyed this video, do give it a like and do subscribe to the channel. Stay in touch with all the latest content. That is going to be it for me and this video. Do check out GT Amiga, and if you're buying anything, use code Tidgney. Check out Fanatec as well if you're looking to buy a wheel. Use my link in the description, and there are 2 videos there to check out as well. A big thank you for watching as always. I do appreciate the support, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.